Hello, fellow presenters. Yes, I know it's been a while. I've been really busy and it's not good enough, but I'm back and I'm here to give you more. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about another 4 hacks, but this time that can relate to work. 4 work hacks that we as freelancers that go about from place to place, different contracts. What things can we use or utilize to make sure that we can further our freelancing career or discipline, particularly within London? This would obviously depend on what you do, what your discipline is, but in many cases, this can apply to many people in the freelance, creative sectors, perhaps in theatre, media, acting, things like that. Or it could be somebody that has another discipline that they might need to do meetings and things like that, as you will see. Okay, so the first thing is to make use of rooms for rehearsal space, or it could be for meetings, it could be for things like that, or just anywhere that you need a space to kind of develop an idea, study, maybe outside of your crowded house share, things like that. So there might be somewhere that you work regularly. Perhaps when you did start working in a bar, in a pub, and there's kind of an upstairs part of the bar that's not often used at times. That's certainly been the case with many venues that I've worked at as a quiz host. So that could be something, particularly if you are a filmmaker or want to create a show reel. Not only can it be good if you want to just do a general script read or a meeting, or you want to do some casting perhaps to see who would be a right fit. It might be something that you find, this is a great location. What time can we, shoot here, that it's not going to be so noisy, and that we can use this location as another space for another scene. So often these can be places that you've worked at. I've often used different places that I've either worked or studied in, and I've said, look, I noticed that you've got this spare room free. Can we use it for a showreel scene, or can we use it to do a read of this, or whatever it is? That happens all the time, so really make sure that you do that. And perhaps in another video, I might talk about how often people, particularly if you want to do something in the arts or in the creative sector, you might do what's called an Arts Council application, so that you can get some of your work funded and your creative endeavours. And one of the things that you can do is actually mention that you have access to this space and get what's called match funding. So there are ways to develop that there, but often just being able to have a space or a location, particularly it might be somewhere that's really convenient. Maybe you live in one part of town and somebody is right on the other end of town, so it's just a really good central meeting point if this is a workplace or somewhere that you have a freelance work connection with. So that's something to bear in mind there. Okay, the next one. To get in touch with either a college, a university, a creative college or university that has a photography course, and ask if you can be one of their models. Why would you do this? Would this only refer to people that want to be a model or anything like that? No. Often even on your LinkedIn, it's quite nice to have a professional headshot, and or just portfolio stills of you in your work or with what you do. So sometimes there's a photography course out in North London that I'll often go to. I know the photography teacher there, really great guy, really great students that come as well, so it's always nice to meet new students who are often there from all walks of life, already working, but they just want to kind of have an introductory course anyway. But the point of this is I've often been able to use these professional headshots not just for my work when I act, but also for things like when I pitch for my quiz nights. I've asked to do kind of slight lifestyle stills. So there's one of me just sort of sipping coffee outside in Coles Drops Yard, because sometimes we'll be asked to do outdoor shoots if it's in the summer for location, and it's just great to sort of have that portfolio to hand, because I think if you can present yourself with high resolution images, it's just another touch that you have to your freelancer business or discipline. And I found it's particularly helped me as a host to get the odd sort of bespoke corporate gig or hosting gig for, say, a Christmas event or things like that, for like a corporate sort of, Christmas party, and they want a bespoke quiz, and I've often used that as well. So yeah, that's one of the things that I would say there. The other thing is, you might find somebody that wants to, that's got a camera and they want to, further develop their craft. On that though, just be careful. You do in part get what you pay for. So if there's a photographer that you think, oh, do you know what, I really find that, particularly if I'm an actor, or if you're an actor and you find that, this is something that works really well for me. This person knows what I'm always looking for and what I want, do reward them and then use them again. That's really important, because particularly as your career becomes more lucrative and you develop that, and I hope you will do, it's really important to help support fellow freelancers and just keep everyone going. I think that's really important. That'll be part of your journey. Okay, next up, what have we got? Is to look out for training or mentorship opportunities. Now, there might be something that you're doing and you think, this is great, I really enjoy being in this environment, I want more. Perhaps it could be, maybe you've started going into theatre directing and you've got an assisting gig. One of the things to do is to really look out for what's going on, keep your ear to the ground, and you'll be able to show an interest in wanting to develop what you're doing and say, right, do you know these practitioners? Opportunize on that and just write to them. Say this is what you're doing. There's a saying that I often believe, that work breeds work. So use that, further develop. Say you're doing this, and I've seen people sort of being able to hop around. I mean, theatre directing, particularly assisting, is a hard game. I really respect a lot of people that really pursue that, because particularly when you do bespoke applications which just take ages. This is a slight digression, but it just is something that I just think it's really hard to make that feasible. But it can be done, and it can be really rewarding, and people can have really fruitful careers. But that's just an example there. And also look out for opportunities where you might be able to get certain courses funded. I teach part-time as a clinical communications tutor at a university, and I really enjoy it, and I find the work really rewarding. And one of the things that I found out is that you can do something that's called a PGAL, I believe, which is something that means that you can sort of teach at university level, and the equivalent for that for schools is PGCE. And so that's something that for me to bear in mind if that's something that I want to take. I know that I'm currently pursuing a coaching qualification for my facilitation work, which I really enjoy as a sort of part of my kind of freelancer work, if you like. So yeah, just really sort of have a look at what else is out there. And also maybe there's somebody that will mentor you and give you advice and say, do you know what, this is kind of the long way around of doing things. But in this situation, this really helped me. Not many people might know about, maybe there's something that you can apply for funding, where you can do a course. Particularly in the early days when I did a lot of theatre outreach programs, I often found out from other people, right, what other theatres are there in London that do kind of courses for young people, or for people trying to build up a CV in acting and transition from student to professional and get credits. And so that was something that really helped me, and I found some great theatre venues and great courses which were running at the time. It's often always changing, but also I was able to sort of feed upon other people's experiences. Okay, if you get this practitioner teaching this course, it's going to be really good. I can't tell you if you end up doing this one. It's going to depend. You're going to have to try it out. Just things like that. That's just really worthwhile. So bear that in mind, whatever you're doing in London. Just really sort of find out about ways that you can develop yourself. And particularly if you do a qualification, this is something that you will have to your name. So it's great that you can have that. Nobody can take that away from you. And you can just sort of have that as part of your kind of portfolio of experience when you pitch yourself for new work. Okay, and the last thing, and something that I'm really hot on, is to join your union. I've spoken briefly in previous videos experiences about where it's really benefited me to be part of the union. I don't think it's always understood, particularly when people start out, exactly what a union is and what it does for you. You don't have to be affiliated on a particular side of a party. You don't have to identify as leftist or rightist or whatever. It's just about being pro workers and protecting yourself in a certain environment, particularly in the creative industries where we're a dime a dozen and we're easily subject to exploitation, particularly with our time. So it's really important that we all kind of contribute to a system that helps protect us. As bureaucratic as it can be, as long-winded as sometimes it can be, there are things there that we benefit from. That's as a result of people that have fought for us. At the moment, there's a lot of great work happening about self-tapes and self-tape regulation for performers, because there's been a period, and it's still going on, where it's just sort of been getting ridiculous, where people are being asked to do scenes and scenes and scenes, short notice. You don't even know if they're going to be watched. So there's really a lot there. And for me, I've had situations where I was threatened with not being paid, or people or companies saying that they want this amount of work, or that they're going to use my imagery here. I'm currently actually in a dispute, and I'm actually really grateful that I'm able to sort of have that support and follow guidance, and particularly when you can copy in equity correspondence and guidelines, or whatever your union is. It's just really professional. It gives weighting that you've got the union behind you and you are taken seriously. So I've certainly benefited from that. And also, just sometimes you might get asked to do work in a slightly different area, or so for example, earlier in the year I was asked to do something for a university, an audio piece of work. And it's really helpful to be able to go to a department and say, how should I price for this? What would you recommend? There's a network there to ask for advice and really kind of make sure that you don't sell yourself short, and make sure that you can snap up that job and just keep things moving. So lots of benefits there from joining your union. And also, as I say, I think it's that sense of giving back. Okay, so there you have it, 4 different areas of work hacks that you can explore. I know that this depends on kind of what your freelancer discipline is, and particularly if you're a creative freelancer, but do let me know, is there anything that springs to your mind? Does any of this resonate with you? I'd be really interested in hearing. And thanks very much.